doesn't want to do it.
Job that you did. I guess you could say the proof is in the pudding, straight out there, eh? And to all the people here, to the community and to the business leaders and all the residents, advantage of this exciting day. Think about what can come because of this. Build on it. Invest in your area. Brag about your area, of course, and certainly do your part to make this a great success. And you know what? It's going to work really well. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr. Well, our next speaker has been incredible in her devotion to keeping the importance of this ferry service in the front of everyone's mind, from Ottawa to Halifax and right here in Yarmouth. I had the pleasure of recently attending an all-hands-on-deck session. In the number of initiatives, the volunteers, and the work they have accomplished under her leadership is very impressive. We are honored to even be part of such a great community effort. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Her Worship, Pam Mood, Mayor of Yarmouth.
Thanks, Steve. I just can't believe the day is here, first of all. Where to start? I sat this morning in my office at home, and I was trying to, I can only put it this way, I was trying to feel something, and it just wouldn't come. And I think it was so overwhelming that the day is finally here that I just didn't know where to go with it. But you know what? I'm standing here today, and one word comes to mind, and that's humbled. I'm very humbled to be able to stand here and look out and see everybody that's made this day possible. Unbelievable. Today happens because people put their noses to the grindstone, because people believe in what they want to do, they believe in the future, they believe in who we are, and they do everything possible, and then some, to make it happen. It's what happens when the Nova Star people believe in Nova Scotia. So a big thank you to Steve and Mark and all your crew for looking at us and saying, wow. And as Mr. Kerr said, we are the lighthouse, just so you know. It's what happens when partners come together. And I say this, I'm the mayor of Yarmouth, but I say this on behalf of the entire region. I want to say a huge thank you to Warden Goodwin and to Warden D'Entremont, Municipality of Yarmouth and Argyle. They have been amazing partners, and we don't do anything without partnership. They are just so on board with all of this, so a huge thank you to the municipalities. Amazing. I think those two gentlemen have kept me straight when I didn't know which way I was going. Today happens when a government believes in following through. I guess it's been said by Minister Sampson and Minister Churchill. Everything you've done, it just shows how much you believe in us and the people. And so, thank you for that. It's what happens when individuals come out and say, you know what, we believe. And if I just put one group aside, of course it would be the NSIFP. So to Neil and Keith, you know the thanks are there. You've done amazingly above and beyond your entire team, what anyone would expect, and it's been beautiful. Today happens when a community gets together and says, we believe it can happen, and they rally and they put all hands on deck, and something magical just happens, and we come together, and then we see the ship come in the harbor. I'm still not believing it. It's a little bit crazy. I just want to say, you know, nobody ever wavered, except there were, you know, for the few people that kept saying, I'll believe it when it comes in the harbor. Welcome to the Believers group. And I also want to say thanks to the very close to 1,000 people that did sign up for the all hands on deck, that rolled up their sleeves up to their elbows and beyond, and just dug in and said, when those thousands and thousands, and I believe Minister Sampson alluded to it, but there are 70 million people across the water. Woo! And we'll take you all. We'll take you all. But for all those people that dug their heels in and rolled up their sleeves, put their hands on deck and said, we will do whatever it takes to make this happen and make it great for when the visitors come. A huge thank you to all of you. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but just on behalf of the town and the surrounding municipalities, I guess the biggest thank you goes out to the people that just continuously supported everything. And I won't do it now, but I did promise the governor of Maine when that ship came in, I'd do a little, well, what the heck. A little tap dance, so there it is. Shout out to the governor of Maine. God bless you, every single one of you.
Well, thank you, Mayor Mood. Our next speaker is a co-chair of the Nova Scotia International Ferry Partnership. And on behalf of Nova Star Cruises, we would like to thank the entire partnership for their selfless, relentless, and dedication to getting this ferry service back. I want to let everybody know that you could not have had better or more dedicated representation on this project. Our next speaker was available anytime, day or night, to discuss any issue we had. So please welcome Keith Condon, co-chair.
Thank you, Steve. I'm not tap dancing. I have to keep looking over my shoulder to make sure it's going to stay here. There are far too many people to mention, but all of the dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, I'm flattered and I'm humbled to be invited here today and to be surrounded by such an honorable group. In closing, to the folks at Nova Star Cruises, in nautical terms, we know as you approach your maiden voyage, you will be sailing close to the wind, and we all wish you fair winds and following seas. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Well, our next speaker is no stranger to anybody here. He's been a staunch supporter and advocate to reestablish this ferry service since the last ferry sailed out of Yarmouth. His support has been tremendous, and his passion for this ferry service is obvious to anyone that speaks to him about it, even if you're not speaking to him about it. Please join me in welcoming Minister Zach Churchill.
What a difference 4 years makes, eh? I remember being on this very wharf a few years ago when there was a few hundred of us Yarmouthians gathered here in protest for the decision that was made to cut our ferry and rallying to get it back here. And it's so nice to be back here 3 years later celebrating this very special occasion. And what a sight and what a moment for our community. I'd like to give special thanks to Minister Sampson and Premier McNeil, without whom this day would not be possible. Michelle dove into this file as soon as he was sworn in as Minister of Economic Development and was so pivotal ensuring that this ferry was with us here today. So a very special thanks to Minister Sampson and the Premier. It's important that we all thank our municipal leaders, mayors Phil Mooney and Pam Mood, and wardens Leland Anthony, Murray Goodwin, and Aldrich D'Entremont, who helped lead this community through some of our most difficult times in recent memory. We all deserve them a great round of applause. A big thank you to the Nova Scotia International Ferry Partnership, led by Keith Condon and Neil LeBlanc, who played such a critical role behind the scenes in developing the business case for this, getting buy-in all across the province, and their work has been so instrumental in bringing this ferry back in our harbor, so a special thanks to them. I'd like to recognize Chris D'Entremont, the MLA, and our neighbor from Argyle, Barrington. I don't know if he's here with us today, but he's always been a great advocate for this ferry service. And of course, we need to thank each other, all the community leaders that really stepped up to the plate over the last few years and did what needed to be done to apply the pressure to get this boat back in our waters. And it's so important that we reflect on what brought us here. You know, when we lost the ferry back in 2009, there was a lot of frustration, anger, worry. We heard it in the coffee shops, we heard it in the grocery stores, we heard it in our homes. But under all of that stress and those very normal emotional reactions, there was a determination, there was focus, and there was hope. We all knew how important the ferry was to our community, to our businesses, and to our lives. And pretty soon after it was gone, we started to hear about how important it was to other communities and tourism business all across this province, even all the way up in Cape Breton. And what happened next was pretty astounding. A groundswell of support rose for our cause to get our ferry back. I heard the understandable cynicism. Some said that all the fuss we were making was for naught, that we could have all the hope in the world and it wouldn't matter. But I have been ever mindful of a lesson that was taught to me about hope. Hope is not the same as wishing. To wish is to sit on your hands and wait for something to happen. But hope is truly an action. And our hope manifested itself into protests against the decision to cut our ferry, into songs to our Prime Minister about the importance of that vessel, into constructive criticism and rigorous public debate, into research around the actual economic impact of the ferry, into a coming together of our business community and business leaders around a shared goal, and into being there for each other during the hard times. And folks, here's what our hope has gotten us. A ferry back in our water. A reconnection of that historic link between us and our American neighbors, and a direct line to one of the largest tourism markets in the world. That is not to say that this is the silver bullet to our economy or the answers to all of our prayers. It's not, and we need to be honest about that. But it is such a critical piece of that puzzle. And it is really up to us to make it work, because our work isn't over yet. We now have a great responsibility to one another for the success of this vessel. The province, no matter which party is in government, has a responsibility to recognize the importance of this link and treat it as the economic driver that it should be, so long as it makes sense to the people of Nova Scotia. We as a community have a responsibility to ensure that we leave a great first impression of our province on those visitors that the ferry will bring, and to give them an experience worth remembering, and to use this service ourselves. Mark, Steve, and the team at Nova Star, you have a responsibility to ensure that your business model is sustainable and that this vessel is the envy of the Eastern Seaboard, and that your customers enjoy a great product that will continue to bring them back to the shores of Nova Scotia. So folks, as we celebrate today, let this ferry be a symbol to all of us of what we can accomplish when we work together, and of that shared accomplishment that we now have. But let it also be a constant reminder to all of us of that shared responsibility that we have to one another to make this project work. Because if we do that, and if we just get a little bit of luck, this is going to work for a long time. Congratulations, Yarmouth. Congratulations, Nova Scotia. I am so proud to be a part of this with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Minister Churchill. Well, that marks the conclusion of the formal part of our event today. As many of you know, there will be an open house on the vessel tomorrow afternoon from 3 to 6. If you wish to attend, please remember that you're required to sign in and bring government-issued photo ID. But before we leave, really from my partners, Mark Emerson, Lisa Arnold, Owen John, Bruce Elaine, and from the team of Nova Star Cruises, we'd like to thank all of you for coming here today and for all of your support that we've had since the beginning of this journey. We look forward to the first day of service when the vessel returns to Yarmouth on the morning of May 16th. Thank you very much.